Hi, Sharika. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Welcome everybody. I'm so excited you're here. So today I want to talk about how to go from crickets to clients. The reason I chose this topic for this masterclass is because I have had series of conversations with coaches, consultants, and done for you service providers. And I must have spoken to about 16 people over the last 2 weeks, and all of them told me they have zero clients. And I'm like, okay, that's an idea for a masterclass, right? So the goal for this masterclass is for you to understand the sales flow model and identify where there might be leaks in your sales flow. So that's my goal for this masterclass. And I want you to leave this masterclass with an action plan on how to fix your sales flow so that you start signing clients consistently. The reason I know it's a problem with the sales flow is because there are tons of other coaches signing clients consistently. That's how I know if people aren't signing clients, it's a problem with their sales flow or is their mindset. As coaches, like if you listen to my content for any length of time, you know I talk about mindset a lot. And I have tested this for myself and I have found it to be true because what we think actually determines our results. So right now, I'm just letting Dr. Monique in to the room. Right now, a number of coaches are thinking the economy is bad, right? But the economy is not bad. That's just a thought. If you tell me the stock market is down by 2.5%, that's a fact, right? But for some people, the stock market being down by 2.5% is actually the economy being good for them. So that's why I said it's about mindset. The thoughts you're choosing to think is creating the results you have. Okay, so very quickly about me. If this is the first time we are meeting, my name is Joy Rowland. I am the host of the Joyful Money podcast. I am a certified business coach. I've worked with Dave Ramsey. I used to be a financial coach. I am now a business coach. I was certified through the Life Coach School. Above all, I think what qualifies me to take this class is because I have changed my money story. So I won't go through all of the things that have happened in the past. Well, I have changed my money story and I'm consistently making money in my business. But ultimately, why am I so passionate about this topic? This is why. I did research, right? Wells Fargo said that only about 1.9% of women owned businesses ever reach $1 million in annual revenue. That's like, oh my gosh, 1.9%. That's horrible. Another one says 44% of women owned businesses report being unprofitable, like they're not making money. And this is even worse. Nearly 48, nearly half, that's 48% of all non employer firms owned by women bring in less than $10,000 a year. It's almost like you're running your business at a loss, like if you're not signing clients consistently. And so when I saw these stats, I'm like, oh my gosh, women businesses need help. And we can, maybe in another masterclass, we can understand why. But ultimately, I feel is the way we've been socialized as women. Men have no problem communicating their value, even in the workplace. Like I used to be in corporate. The men in the workplace were so outgoing, they could communicate their value. And the women, even though they were, in my opinion, twice as good compared to the men, they were not communicating their value because they were told, oh, you shouldn't be too much, right? All of that socializing, I feel, has affected the way we show up in our businesses. We need to start running our businesses like the CEO that we are. And I used to say this to my clients. If you were to apply for a job as the CEO of your own business, your coaching business, do you think you will stay in the job for long based off of how you've been showing up in your business? The answer is probably no. So I am so passionate for women to start seeing their businesses as businesses and showing up in that way. And so I feel like we need some refresher on what's possible for us in business, especially as coaches, consultants, and done for you service providers. What's possible for us? Because if you are stuck in trying to make 5K per month, it's almost like that grind takes your vision away from what's possible. So I want to refresh your mind and tell you what's possible if you take your business seriously and start showing up consistently. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by showing up consistently. But I want to show you what's possible. And I've tried my best to be as conservative as possible with my numbers. Possible earnings. If you had a group coaching program and you had only just 10 people in that group coaching program and you were coaching them just one, let's say 2 hours per week, right? So 2 hours of your time per week in the group coaching program, 10 people in that program is $50,000. Alongside your group coaching program, when you get to that level, you'll also have a mastermind, right? So in your mastermind, if you had 10 people at 7,500 for 6 months, that will be $75,000. Alongside your group and mastermind, you could also open spots for one-to-one coaching. If you price your one-to-one coaching at 10K for 6 months, that's 100K from one-to-one coaching. You could also do destination retreats. Like when you get to that point, you understand what I mean. This is where you host retreats in a destination, let's say, depending on the country you want to go to. And you help people, maybe you go 10 people and they pay you only 12,500. That's 125,000 coming from your destination retreats. What if you wanted to do VIP days? So VIP days is where you take just one client, they'll fly into the city where you are. Both of you will be in a hotel, individual rooms, of course, but they will have access to you for just one whole day for you to help them. You could price your VIP day at 40,000. Now, when you add all of this up, that's over 300K, right? So I want you to start understanding that putting in the work right now to build your business to where you want it to go is going to be worth it. So I just wanted to caveat that to say that I recommend you start with one-on-one coaching, right? For proof of concept, to collect testimonials, and to develop your IP, your unique frameworks. And I think that's where most people are right now, doing that one-to-one coaching for people to know you in the industry before you move to group coaching, mastermind, and then another one-to-one. But at this stage, you're pricing higher, right? So I just wanted to write that there, that this one-to-one isn't the one-to-one you're doing now to build your reputation, right? That's completely different. So you might say, oh my gosh, these numbers are outrageous. How am I going to reach those numbers? So I'm like, okay, I need to give your brain proof that this is possible for you too. And I found a fantastic example of a post you can go see right now on Facebook that will show you what's possible for you. This is a Facebook group called Alpha Firm. It's run by Melanie Ann Layer. If you don't know her, go check her out. She's amazing. She's here in Ontario, Canada as well. And somebody posted in this group that she had paid Melanie over $500,000 for coaching for 1 year. $500,000. So 555,000 USD equates to about 800K Canadian dollars. Paid to Melanie for 1 year of coaching. So I'm like, when I saw this example, I'm in this group, I'm like, this is a very good example for women to see what's possible if that's your desire, right? It's fine if your goal is just to reach 100K. Like there's nothing wrong with that, right? I'm talking about women who want something bigger, right? Because it's good to see what other people are doing to open up our brains to say, oh my gosh, I can do this too. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm actually sharing my screen. Okay. All right. So this is her name is Stephanie. I also follow her page on Facebook. And so after this post, just a couple of weeks later, she posted on her personal page, and I'm going to show you that as well. She had made $1 million in just 23 days for this year. in her own business. So this is the lady that paid Melanie for coaching $500,000. And in this post, she was celebrating that she had made $1 million cash collected in her business. So I just wanted to show you what's possible. And it's good for us to see this. So it opens up our brains to say, it's possible for me to, why not? Right? Okay. So the next thing I want us to do is to identify where your leaks are in your sales flow. So I have identified 6 things that might be wrong in your sales flow. If you're not signing clients consistently every month, at least one of this is the issue. Many people I show this to will tell me multiple of these are their issues, right? So I want us to go through the right audience. So that's the first thing. Are you targeting the right demographics for your product or service? On a scale, so let's use the green light. So green, yellow, red. How would you rate yourself right now of where you are at attracting the right audience? Do you think you are speaking to the right audience right now? You can type it in the chat. Where would you rate yourself for point number 1? Are you green, which means you completely are talking to the right people? Or are you yellow or red? Yes. Jennifer says green light for the right audience. I know my people. Yes. Dr. Monique says red. Perfect. Okay, let's go to lead generation. Sharika says green. Fantastic. Awesome. Another thing I want to point out for number 1 is that when I say the right audience, are people able to afford your services? So let me give you an example. If you had an offer working with teenagers, for example, do you think teenagers can afford to pay you thousands of dollars per month? Maybe you target their moms, right, or their dads, but I just want you to start to think and ask yourself, am I offering something that people can afford to pay? Am I targeting people who can afford my services? Or am I targeting people who are kind of struggling? So, for example, if you were a career coach, are you targeting people who've been laid off? If people have been laid off, most likely they're going to tighten their belt, for example. So, I want you to start thinking the people I am talking to, can they afford my services? Next is lead generation. Is your pipeline filling consistently with potential customers? Are you growing your audience on a consistent basis with the right people? That's for lead generation. Jennifer says lead generation yellow. Okay, awesome. It's good to have this awareness and that's why I love attending live masterclasses. By doing this work you are doing right now, you don't necessarily have to watch the replay, right? Because you are actively asking your brain the question, and I'm like, lead generation, am I attracting the right people? And awareness is the first step to change, as we all know. Okay, Dr. Camille says right. Okay, let's go to effective messaging. Do you think your messaging is resonating with your audience? Is it landing for them? Is it red, green, or yellow for effective messaging? So your post on social media, your emails, messaging green, awesome. Sherry says green for messaging, yes. Jennifer says green for messaging, yes. Awesome. So that includes your social media posts, your emails, your YouTube videos. Anywhere you do your marketing, is your messaging landing? Okay, let's go to number 4, establishing credibility. Do the people you are talking to, do they see you as an expert? Because here's the thing, before people hire you, they need to see you as an expert. They need to see you as someone who can lead them from point A to point B, because we as coaches, service providers, we are taking people from pain to pleasure. Pain is point A, pleasure is point B. For them to hire us, they need to see us as the leader that can take them there. So do you think right now your audience see you as an expert, as a leader? On a scale of green, yellow, red, how would you think, right? Because it's very hard to put yourself in the minds of your audience. But do you think people see you as an authority? Credibility red in social media, green in masterclasses. Yes, I love that so much. Green, yes. Awesome. Okay, let's go to audience confidence. The people you're talking to right now, do they believe in the ability to achieve the results you're telling them they can achieve? So remember I said we are taking people from point A to point B. Do they believe in themselves based off of the posts you've been posting, your emails, your messaging? Do they believe that they can achieve the results? So I know Dr. Camille is a money coach for doctors. So for your audience, do they believe in themselves that they can be rid of debt? Because we need people to believe in us and we need them to believe in themselves. Audience red, masterclass green. I start posting on social media more consistently. Yes, Dr. Camille for yellow. Okay, finally, closing deals. Are you converting enough leads into sales? Do you even track your conversion rates? Who here tracks the conversion rates? I want to see the nerds here. Jennifer says, I need to start posting. Yes, yes. Consistency is very key. I cannot tell you the number of people that have told me, oh, because you run your master classes consistently, I trust you, right? Posting on social media, people need to see that consistency to trust us with thousands of dollars, right? Yes. Sharika says consistency green. Okay. Closing deals. Are you converting enough of your leads into sales? Are you tracking your conversion rate? Who here tracks their conversion rate? So by conversion rate, I mean the percentage of people who sign up compared to people who come on a sales call or your master classes. Are you tracking that number? As CEOs, these are key metrics we need to be tracking. Okay. All right. So let's move on. Closing deals red. I do the master classes for women in my full-time job, so not selling to them. However, working on my plan to start master classes outside of work. Yes, I love this awareness, Jennifer. Yes, because they need to see you doing those master classes consistently. Yellow conversion, 66%. It's easy, few leads. Yes. And that's one of the things we're going to fix in this masterclass. Dr. Camille has an amazing conversion rate. She needs more leads so she can sign more clients. Okay, so let's move on. So let's understand the sales flow. How do people move from being casual observers to signing up in your program? The first is attracting them, right? If there is no visibility and there is no lead gen, that is the fastest way to cripple your success in business. So attraction is absolutely key. And I love what Dr. Camille said. Lead gen, like if we can find a way to consistently attract the right leads, we will definitely close more calls, which means we'll be signing more clients, which means more money per year. And I'm going to tell you my process of getting new leads into my business. The next step is to nurture. So this is where I love to say, love people, love and nurture people. So what this means is you stop seeing individuals as working credit cards. You stop seeing them as potential clients, right? I know that sounds counterintuitive, but when you see people as walking credit cards, the way you interact with them will come across as icky, salesy. You need to learn the skill of just loving people and nurturing them. Okay? When there's a lack of trust building content, it hinders connections. You want people to connect with you because it's when they connect with you that they are comfortable buying from you. The next step is to convert. Unclear offers or calls to actions confuse customers. So if your call to action is confusing, it's going to confuse customers. And I always say, confused people say no. When people are confused, that's the fastest way to a no. They're like, no, right? So your call to action needs to be clear, whether it's book a consult, whether it's join my next masterclass. So we're going to implement strategies to improve each of these sales phases. Now, I forgot to mention that if you have any questions, put them in the chat. I'm going to run through the presentation very quickly, and then we'll come back to your questions. Okay, so for the attract phase, I see a number of coaches face challenges like no visibility, no lead generation. To overcome this, focus on clarifying your niche and your message, creating compelling lead magnets, and providing consistent, clear content. I know, like, this is like, oh my gosh, yeah, I know this already, right? But we're going to go into how do you implement this? In the attract phase, these are the statistics I came up with. 70% of coaches fail to attract quality leads. That's huge. 90% struggle with lead generation as a whole. And on average, this is costing business owners, especially coaches and consultants, service providers, 15K per month. So, how do we fix this? How do we fix this lead gen problem? Enhance visibility by clarifying your niche and your message, and then use other people's audiences and stages to consistently attract leads. This is my secret formula to always having leads to talk to in my business. I use other people's stages. I call this OPP, other people's platform. Now, if you know Oprah, and I'm sure most of you know her, and if you think of Dr. Phil, it was when Oprah interviewed Dr. Phil on her platform that Dr. Phil started experiencing astronomical success in his business. So he leveraged Oprah's platform to become more popular. So I give this example to say if you are new in your niche, if nobody knows you in the industry, it's going to take time for people to start trusting you. If you just rely on just posting on Instagram, right? But you can leverage an existing audience to start attracting leads and ultimately clients into your business. How? This is how I do it. First one is I do speaking engagements. I speak on other people's virtual conferences where my target audience are, and that's how I'm getting leads into my business. The second strategy is guesting on other people's podcast. I have a consistent way of guesting on other people's podcast every single week. And my process doesn't, you don't have to be glued on your computer for the whole day. To find those podcasts, pitch to those podcasts, present value because ultimately podcast hosts want guests who can give value to their people. So you need a way to present yourself to these podcasts where your aligned leads are already listening to, pitching yourself as a valuable expert, coming to the podcast, giving value, and then doing a call to action. Those are the two main ways I am getting leads. The third one is monthly masterclasses. I run these masterclasses consistently. Okay, yeah. Dr. Camille has to go. All right. I know you are at work. I just appreciate you coming on the call, Dr. Camille. So those are the three virtual conferences, guesting on other people's podcasts, and then running monthly masterclasses. Okay, next is the nurture phase. How do you nurture people once they're in your mailing list? So for all of these three strategies I just talked about for bringing in leads, I always give a lead magnet that brings them into my mailing list. And for lead magnets, please, 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 just having a PDF, like it depends on the PDF, right? I feel like people are already overwhelmed with information. Your lead magnet has to be so compelling that people are like, oh my gosh, I need that. And they're giving you their email addresses to get your lead magnet. So I want you to start thinking on my link in bio, your link tree, what lead magnets do you have there? Are those lead magnets compelling enough? Right? If your lead magnet is a PDF guide, I'm like, that might not be that might not be getting people into your list. The one that's working for me right now is my 5-day challenge. This is where I help people, right? So think about, can you run a 3-day challenge that people can come and get results? So for example, if you are a weight loss coach, instead of just giving people a PDF of how to cook potatoes or something like that. I'm not a weight loss coach, so I don't know. People can get access to that information. ChatGPT is there. They can find whatever information they want. That's why just having a PDF is not going to convert people into being leads into your business. But if, as a weight loss coach, you have a constantly running 3-day challenge of come, I'm going to help you crush your desire for chocolate in just 3 days. I'm like, sign me up, right? So I want you to start thinking, is your lead magnet converting? And once they're in your email list, do you have a nurture sequence that nurtures them into clients? So what I mean by that is when I download your lose weight guide, do you have a series of emails over 7 days that sells me into your program, nurtures me and sells me into your program? That's a nurture sequence. And all of that can be automated, by the way, right? Okay, so I already covered this. Effective techniques for building trust and connection with clients, your email marketing, and compelling social media posts. Many people that I talk to, they are not leveraging email marketing. We do not own any of the social media platforms. In fact, if any platforms, Instagram, Facebook, if they crashed right now, so many businesses would go out of business. Why? They do not have their audience's email address. If this is the only thing you get from this masterclass, devise a way to convert your Instagram followers into email list subscribers, because your email list is yours. Okay. Okay, so how do we convert? Let's go to the convert stage. And I think this is the missing piece for most people, right? And the reason I say this is the missing piece for most people, your follower list doesn't really matter. What matters is if you are converting them from just followers into clients. Why am I saying that? Well, I have only about 200 followers. And in the last 2 months, back to back, I've done 25K for each month. That's 50K in 60 days. And I only have, I think, 250 followers. The follower size doesn't matter. I had someone come on a consult with me. She has 90,000 followers. She says she's midlife or menopause coach. I can't remember. She has never had one paid client. And my question was, these 90,000 followers, are there bots? And she opened her Instagram. It was on a Zoom call. She scrolled and she told me no. All of those people follow her because she does like recipes for perimenopause and menopause. And I'm like, of all of those women who struggle with being in that phase of their life, none of them have paid you $1 for your product. You have a problem with conversion. So follower size doesn't matter. So how do you convert? Well, you need to have a clear roadmap to take people from pain to pleasure. So what's your unique framework? Are you communicating that unique framework to help them convert from just followers to clients? And one of the best ways to convert is using masterclasses. Now, I've been in business for just over 18 months now. I have never signed anyone who just saw my post on Instagram and decided to buy. They'll see my post on Instagram. I would invite them into a masterclass and then teach them a concept in the masterclass. And then either they sign up or they book a consult. I say that to say, I see so many people just posting faceless reels on Instagram. And I have this in a slide coming up. Did you know research shows that it takes 11 hours of content for people to buy high ticket? 11 hours of content. How many reels do you think you can do to reach 11 hours? So this is why when I see people just posting to get likes, like if you want to be an influencer, fine. But if you want to make money, you need to have a way to convert people from just liking your post to saying, oh my gosh, I need this. I want to sign up. Okay, so that's the conversion phase. So this statistic I just gave you, I want you to go research it for yourself. It actually says 10 to 14 hours. So I just took the average, 11 hours of content. Okay, so how do we fix this? Well, we need, for the convert phrase, we need consistent offers and confident invitation. Now, I'm not saying invitations that feel icky. Like, okay, so maybe you didn't see my post from 2 days ago. So I had this massive business expo for my AI business. So I build AI agents. So I didn't have time to promote this masterclass, right? So typically I post consistently. Because I was in a live expo, there was no time. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to invite a few of my contacts. So Sharika, who is here today, Dr. Monique, who is here today, they got personal invites. Like I messaged them and I said, "Hi, I'm running a masterclass. Are you free to come?" Like it didn't feel silly because I knew I could deliver value, right? So that's what you need to be thinking about. In your current warm audience, you need to be able to invite them into what I call a VIP experience, a VIP workshop experience, where you come teach them a concept, not fluff. Like if you start doing fluff in your master classes or your workshops, people are going to drop off. You need to give them high quality value, something that they can go away with and get results with, even without working with you. Okay. And I see that running masterclasses consistently is the fastest way to do this. So, what, in my opinion, your path to success is fixing all of those loopholes, which means you attract the right people, you nurture them using engaging content, you connect with people, you don't see people with dollar signs. And a concept that really helps me with this is detaching from the outcome. So let's say your goal for this month is to earn $50,000 for in your business. Even though that's your goal, you have to learn the skill of detaching from the outcome. When you detach from the outcome and you drop into valuable service, that's when money is attracted to you. Okay. And that's why I said you love and you nurture people. You're not just saying, oh, come buy my product, come buy my service. You're looking for ways to actually give them value. And they're like, okay, I feel compelled to do this. I wasn't planning to do this. I wanted to show you. Okay, maybe I can do it later. I'll show you my Facebook Messenger. So this lady, I posted in a Facebook group, and I'm gonna show you. I promise, I won't forget. And so I posted in the Facebook group. She commented and she needed my help. So we went into the DMs. I sent out tons of value. And then a day later, she messages me and she's like, "You helped me so much. And I feel compelled to ask, how can I help you back?" Like, I'm like, gosh, that's how you, like, that's the feedback you want to get from people. You give them so much value. They're like, I want to do something back. Right? So not helping people expecting something in return, just helping from your heart of service, right? So I'm going to show you that before we go. And then we'll review, we assess areas for improvement because as business owners, we know we'll always need to improve. And the only way we know when to improve is if we track our numbers. And I'm going to show you what I mean by tracking your numbers. And then we act, we implement. Very quickly on this point, as you build your business, you need to drop the employee mentality. And what that means is, as an employee, obviously, many people are in their 9 to 5 jobs. You want to outperform the next people. You want to be excellent. You want your work to be perfect, right? Which is okay because that's how you get promoted. That's how you get salary increases. But as a business owner, you need to drop that employee mentality. And what that means is you always take action as quickly as possible based off of the data in front of you. So you're not looking for perfection. In fact, if you wait for perfection, you're not going to sign clients. If you have an idea for your business, let's say you're like, oh my gosh, I want to do Eventbrite. I want to promote my program on Eventbrite. You don't wait for the perfect banner on Eventbrite. You go ahead, you launch, and then you start gathering data, and then you implement. So that's the difference between employee mentality and an entrepreneur mentality. So when I saw this act, I'm like, I need to say this. Okay, key points. Thank you, Jennifer. Key points. People rarely convert into clients just from seeing an Instagram post. So I know I already mentioned this because it was at that point. I have never signed people who just saw my Instagram post and say, send me your Stripe link, I'm ready to pay. It takes on average 11 hours of content for a person to purchase high ticket. So as you sit in this masterclass, and if you're watching the replay, I want you to start thinking, do you have enough content to convert people? And I'm going to give you an example of how my content has helped me convert on YouTube. Okay, so many people say they are not making money in their businesses. And so I actually did this post last week, and I'm like, this is so good. I have to bring it to this masterclass. And people say, oh, I'm not signing clients. And I say, okay, tell me, what have you been doing in your business? And they go, well, I've been showing up. I'm posting some days. At least I post weekly. And then I comment on other people's posts. I'm like, okay, is that all you've been doing? You say, yes. I'm like, no wonder you're not signing clients. So this is what I mean by keeping track of your effort and your statistics. So for me, January to date, so today is the 10th of June, I have done 9 live masterclasses. So this class will make it number 10. I have done 24 video podcast episodes. I have done 3 speaking engagements at virtual conferences. And I have done 182 posts slash reels on all the 3 social media platforms. So when I post on Instagram, I post the same thing on my Facebook and LinkedIn. So on each of those platforms, I now have 182 posts. So I post consistently. I do video podcasts consistently. And all of this has resulted in 22 pay in full clients, equating to $110,000. And this is just for my Joyful Money business. Like I said, I build AI voice agents. For that, I've almost doubled this figure. So I want you to ask yourself, well, if I see I'm not signing clients in my business, what am I actually doing? Right? And I'm showing you this so that I want you to start tracking your numbers, because we know as coaches, we know that what we focus on expands. Once I start tracking my numbers and I see, oh my gosh, I did 9 live master classes and that got me 22 clients. Because I see that data in front of me, guess what? I am more excited to run master classes. Okay. So if there's, thank you, Dr. Money. I want you to start tracking your numbers. Okay. So here's my process. I publish 1 video per week on YouTube. I do 2 podcast interviews per month on other people's podcasts. I then use AI. Okay. Yes. Okay. I love this, Jennifer, and thank you for saying this right now. She says, I love this. However, this is when I start getting overwhelmed because I work full time. I want to get my course into the world. It all feels overwhelming. Yes, it does. Do you know the reason it feels overwhelming, Jennifer? Because it is overwhelming, right? So I want you to give yourself grace. I do this full time. This is my full time job, and I have a very close coaching friend. Like, she's also a coach as well. She's also a business coach. She has a full-time job as a teacher. She's earning good money, but she desperately wants to build her coaching business so she can replace her full-time job. And every time she complains to me, the anxiety of, I feel like I could be doing more in my business, that anxiety keeps her feeling small, right? She tends to compare herself to me. And I tell her, don't do that. So I want to offer you the same. Give yourself grace and say, and actually, I have a custom GPT, and I can share this with you, that takes into account your your schedule. So when you tell my custom GPT, when you tell that custom GPT and you say, I have a 9 to 5 job, I go to work at 7, come back at 6. How can I build a successful coaching business using my time allocation? And that GPT will tell you what you need to do every single day in your business. So this is a GPT I give my clients. So I'm just thinking how I can help you with that GPT, because it's going to be so helpful. But the GPT needs to know what your offer is. So what I mean is, your transformational offer, your 6-month transformational offer, we feed that into the GPT, and then we say, this is how much I want to make per month by the end of 6 months. Tell me, what can I do every day to grow my business? And I think this is what helps people get results. If you know that this is what I need to do every single day, it's called your daily method of operation. Yeah. So I've got the transformational offer. It's only 3 months. Okay. So I can work with you on that, Jennifer. because feeling overwhelmed is the fastest way to not take action, right? And I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. I want you to be joyful. In the time you have, I want you to be joyful. When you show up from, let's say you can only work in your business from 7 p.m. until 8:30 because you have to put your kids at school. That 1 hour, 30 minutes, if you show up in your business with joy and excitement, your results is going to come fast. And the way you do that is by getting rid of overwhelm and saying, okay, I'm so grateful I have a 9 to 5 job, but I want more. And then we can plan for that. Yes. Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Monique. Okay, so I was just going through what I do. Yeah, you're welcome, Jennifer. So I was just saying that the 2 podcast interviews I do on other people's podcasts, I chop it off using AI. Very simple. I just put the YouTube link into the AI and it chops it off into reels, and I have my reels for the whole month. Okay. And then the fifth thing I do is I invite my warm audiences into my masterclass. I do not cold DM people. It's not aligned with who I am. I do not respond to cold DMs. So I know if I cold DM people, it wouldn't work for me. All right. So I only invite people in my network and I invite them to come to my masterclass. It's so easy. I never feel salesy because I know I'm inviting them to value, right? And all of your comments today actually validates that I am giving value. So I want you to find a way to validate to yourself that your monthly masterclasses are packed full of value. Because when you convince yourself, inviting people will be like, a gift. You're gifting them something by inviting them to your masterclass. And then I email my list twice a week. You have to start doing this, my friend. Even if you only have 2 people on your list, if you can master this skill of emailing your list twice a week, that's the fastest way to making thousands of dollars. Trust me on this. Okay. And then I speak at virtual conferences. So far I've done 1 to 2 quarterly. And I have a way of finding those events. Okay. There's something called Google Alerts. I teach this in my program, but even if you don't join my program, there's something called Google Alerts. You can set alerts for the kind of conferences you want to speak on. So just go on Google, type Google Alerts, type in. So for example, I'm a business coach. I do business plus women. Yes, Dr. Monique says, I email my list 2 to 3 per week. The response is low for link clicks. Yes. So if the response is low for link clicks, it means that they are opening your email. So do you know what your open rate is? So for emails, we track open rate, response rate, and click-through rate. So those are the 3. Open rate 45%. That's huge. Okay. So I need to say congratulations on that. If your open rate is 45%, it means all you need to do is to fine-tune your messaging. So it means they're opening your emails. So that means your subject title is compelling enough for people to click open. So that's like the first hurdle. So congratulations on that. The other one is easy to fix, right? So you need to focus on giving value and then making a call to action. You can use ChatGPT for this. Once you train your ChatGPT with your voice, your tone, and personality, ask your ChatGPT, my open rate is 45%, but I'm struggling with getting people to click through. Can you help me? I tell you, your custom GPT will blow your mind. Okay? I use that as well in my business. That's how I know. Okay. You're welcome. All right. So I have proof that you can sell in masterclasses. Why do I encourage all my clients to sell in masterclasses? Well, because it's one to many, right? You don't want to be bogged down with sales calls. It takes time. There's so many hours in a day. If you can find a way to sell in masterclasses, it's going to make your life a whole lot easier. Now, there's a process, right? You give value and then you do a call to action. Why do I know masterclasses sell? Well, I have a number of proofs, but a number of them are private videos that are paid videos, so you cannot see those proof. One of them is my I did the first masterclass of the year where I was teaching people how to build their entire year's worth of content in just 90 minutes. In that masterclass, I had a number of people join live, but you don't have access to that. But you can go check out my YouTube. This one is public. It's called Manifest My Money Masterclass. In that masterclass, I got to the point I made an offer. And in that masterclass live, someone paid to join my masterclass. Not only that, the person unmuted to tell everyone in the room that he had paid 5K to join my mastermind. And just that just changed the energy in the room. Also, uploading your masterclass replays on YouTube is a game changer. Why? YouTube is a search engine. I'm trying to go as fast as possible, but I just want to tell you, if you're not leveraging YouTube, you are missing out. I am going to be speaking at the National Women's Collaborative in Puerto Rico in September. It's a 4-day event. I'm one of the guest speakers. And how did that happen? The president of the organization somehow stumbled on my YouTube video and she messaged me on LinkedIn and she's like, we need to connect. Okay. So you need to be leveraging YouTube. All you have to do is post your masterclass replays. That's all you have to do. And YouTube will do, well, I use ChatGPT for search engine optimization so that I have all the titles, the SEO done, and then YouTube will help people find your videos. That's how YouTube works. Okay, the other proof I have is someone else stumbled on my YouTube video. Okay, so this is how it happened. And if you're on my email list, you got this email 2 weeks ago. I wake up in the morning, you know how you pin down your stuff to see what you've missed, like your notifications. One of them was a Stripe notification. Someone had paid $5,000 to join my program, but I didn't recognize the name. So I go into my CRM to search for the name. The name doesn't exist. So I email them because Stripe will tell, okay, I can actually show you. So Stripe will tell you the email it came from, right? So I send the email. I'm like, welcome to my program, but where did you find me? And this person said, well, I stumbled on one of your videos. And then in her words, she said, I binge watched your content and I got to the masterclass where you made an offer, saw your QR code on screen, scanned the QR code and made the payment. Someone I never knew, right? I'm telling you this example. So like I said, if you were on my email list, you saw my email about this. I'm showing you this example to tell you the power of YouTube, to tell you the power of consistency. Okay. So amazing things are so possible when you are consistent. Okay. So how can I help you? This is how I can help you. First of all, I'll recalibrate your offer. And what that means is I'll help ensure that you have an offer that will sell. So if you go to my pinned post on Instagram, you see how I describe my Joyful Money program and I put like the transformation I'm offering. So that's what I mean by a transformational offer. Next, I'll help you create compelling masterclasses. I'll teach you how to sell confidently one-to-many in masterclasses. The way I'm going to teach you, I use neuroscience and CBT to change your thinking to see how valuable your offer is. Next, I'll teach you my method on guesting on other people's podcasts. Very simple. So you can land those podcast guest interviews. And this is one of the ways your audience will start seeing you as an expert. When you break down those interviews into reels, so I use Opus Clips. You can go check it out. It's an AI. So those podcast guest interviews, you just put the YouTube URL in the AI and it chops it up into clips. And that's your post for the whole month. Then speaking gigs, I'll tell you my method of landing speaking gigs. Personalized custom GPT, I will build you a personalized custom GPT programmed with your personal roadmap. So for all of my clients, I create a 6-month roadmap so you know exactly what to do every single day to reach your goals. We'll also do sales role play, which is amazing. Many people struggle to close sales because sales feel icky. So I'm going to teach you how to sell in a way that people say, oh my gosh, I'm ready. Whether you do this or not, I want you to create a proven system and create an accountability process to keep you on track. Because right now you are so pumped up in this masterclass, you're like, oh my gosh, I can see what's possible for my business. But I want you to believe me when I say tomorrow morning, that motivation will have waned away. You need a way to keep yourself accountable so you start creating results. Okay? If you want my help and you're like, oh my gosh, I need a proven process, I need to be able to build my business as the CEO that I am, I invite you to join my Joyful Money program. This is where strategy meets action. In fact, I pride myself in saying there are no lengthy videos to watch in my program. When you start, we go action, 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 action. And that's how we get results. I want you to decide to invest in yourself if it feels aligned. Okay? If it feels aligned, it's 5K for 6 months. If you wanted a payment plan, is $950 per month for 6 months. This is the QR code to join. Now, I personally do not accept people in my program who are not comfortable financially. So I'll give you an example. It was 4 days ago, I had a consult, and the lady was so desperate for me to sign her as my client. And she actually showed me her phone, she showed me her bank balance, and she's like, I can afford 950. And I look at the bank balance and I'm like, you only have 1,200. I don't feel comfortable accepting 250 just to sign you into my program. So the reason is because when we come from a place of abundance, that is the fastest way to create more abundance. I'll give you a quick example. Have you ever been to job interviews? Let's say you've been laid off, God forbid, you've been laid off from your job and you apply for job interviews. You go to the job interview, and interview after interview, they keep telling you, oh, we decided to go with somebody else. But somehow, if you went on the job interview with your job secure, right? Let's say someone just approached you on, yes, okay. Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Dr. Camille. Let's say someone approached you on LinkedIn and they're like, oh my gosh, I think I have the perfect offer for you. And then you go for the interview because your job is secure. You go for the interview and you land the job and you're like, I don't really need a job, but I got a job. Do you know why that happens? It's because of your energy. If you were laid off from your job, the energy you appear in interviews for is completely different if you were already comfortable in your job. So that's why I have a policy. I only accept people who are ready for more abundance. Okay. So that's the QR code. I want to move on to open coaching. So I'm going to stop the recording. If you just for people who aren't comfortable sharing publicly, and then you can. You should want to stop the recording. Yes.